Hey guys, Ziyall here of the WhackaMole. So this is a review of the Darkmoon Faire 2.0. This is actually a 2.0 version in more than just one reason, because obviously they have remade the Darkmoon Faire, so it's way more interesting now and way better than it used to be. But I also did a live commentary review of the Darkmoon Faire a couple of days ago, and I just hated everything. I mean, there was just something about it. As soon as I started rendering and working on it, and after about 24 hours or something like that being up on YouTube, I just decided to scrap the whole thing and decided to do a new run. So the character that you're seeing in this video is called Gitesh. It is on a secondary World of Warcraft account that I have, and she's going to take you on a tour around the Darkmoon Faire. Before we start reviewing some of the games and some of the vendors that you will find at the fair, there is a specific item that I will need you to go and get as soon as possible, because there are a lot of achievements that you will need this specific item in order to be able to complete, and there is also a couple of quests where you will need the specific item in order to be able to complete them. The item that I'm talking about is the Darkmoon Adventure Guide, and you can get it from this NPC that I'm talking to right now. Simply just talk to her and ask for the guide and you will get it, and keep it equipped in your bags. That way you will be able to get these achievements. The next item on the list is the tokens that you'll need to play the games. So just go to the goblin and the first tent on the right side as you enter the fair and buy a sack of tokens. Let's start with some of the quests that you can do here in the Darkmoon Faire. So we have the profession quests. Now, there is one quest for each of the professions in the game, both primary professions and secondary professions. Some of the quests will require you to go out to your capital cities and find some regions and other items, and others are simply pickup quests of stuff lying around the fair. Among some of the prizes for these quests is a 5 skill point increase in the said profession, a gaming token, and a couple of Darkmoon prize tickets that can be used to buy mounts and companions, and for that matter, transmogrification gear. From the looks of it, these quests can only be completed once. At least once every time the Darkmoon Faire comes by. We haven't been able to test it yet, so we don't know, but I'm guessing that each time the Darkmoon Faire comes around, these quests will be reset and you will be able to do them again. One last thing worth mentioning. You have to have a profession skill of a minimum of 75 in order to be able to even get these quests. So as long as you have 75 or higher, these quests will be available for you. So let's take a look at some of the games that you'll be finding here on the Darkmoon Faire. The first one is the WhackaMole. This is a pretty simple little game. You get a hammer, you run around, you whack the gnolls in the head, and you need to get 30 points. The good looking gnolls give you 3 points, the not so good looking ones give you 1 point, and if you by mistake whack a doll, you're gonna get stunned for a few seconds. If you haven't gotten all 30 points before the timer runs out, just go back in, buy another game, and complete it. You don't have to start over, so don't worry. And that's it for the WhackaMole. Next up is the human Cannonball, or in this case, the Night Elf Cannonball. The object of this game is to shoot yourself out of the cannon and land in the bullseye, capping all 5 targets at once. There is an achievement for hitting the bullseye. Now, this hasn't as much to do with actually hitting the center of the target as it has to do with capping all 5 targets at once. So you might feel that you are hitting the exact center of the target in the water, but if you are not capping all 5 targets in that same shot, you're not going to get the achievements. So this is just as much about trial and error. When you've landed, you can either choose to run all the way back to the cannon, which is located all the way on the other side of the fair, or you can choose to talk to the gnome that is fishing next to the coast. He will, for a short fee of course, transport you back to the cannon. Actually, it feels a little bit weird that it's a gnome. I mean, with the whole time equals money, friend. Should have been a goblin, but hey, that's just me. Next up, we have the shooting gallery. This one is pretty simple. So we have 3 targets, and on occasion there is going to be a sort of hunter's mark over one of the 3 targets, and you just need to shoot towards that target, and every time you hit, you get 1 point. And when you've got 25 points, you win. It's as simple as that. Just make sure to aim in the general direction of the target you're shooting at, and you're gonna hit it. Now there is an achievement called Quick Shot. It's, to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure how you get it, but basically it's just a matter of button smashing and you're gonna get it. I mean, if you don't get it on your first try, you're gonna be super unlucky. And now it's time for my absolute favorite of all of 5 games. The Tonk Challenge, or the Tonk Battle, or whatever you like to call it. But basically, you're driving around in your mini tank in an arena and shooting at everything that moves. I mean, come on, that must be the best game ever designed. Okay, so on the arena floor, you have a lot of bullseye targets. The plan is for you to shoot these. Each time you hit one, you get 1 point, and you need to get 30 to win. But there are also NPC-controlled tonks driving around in the arena. Now, every time you by mistake or deliberately hit these, they are going to target you and try to destroy you. And if they hit you, your tonk is destroyed and you have to start again. However, if you end up destroying them, this also counts as a target and you get a point. Last but not least, there is a gunship flying around, shooting at random. If you shoot this one down, again, you get another point, but this can also shoot you down, so keep an eye out, there's a lot of stuff happening. Now I have a little tip for you, because this is something that I figured out myself, and instead of just shooting randomly hoping you'll hit whatever target you're aiming at, shoot on the target as soon as you run over it, or even just as you pass it, you will shoot backwards. I found out that that was the easiest way to hit your targets. So just run past them, and as soon as you run past them, you shoot, and you are 9 out of 10 times going to hit your target. Anyway, as soon as you've gotten your 30 targets, turn in your quest, and it's time to move on. The last game is Turtle, or it's a ring toss game. Basically, pick up your rings, throw them towards the turtle, and just aim the ring close to the turtle, and trust me, you are going to hit it. This game is so insanely easy and so fast that it's gonna be over before you know it.
Have a good one.
So I mentioned earlier that there are also vendors here. Now, we have a vendor that sells a few non-combat pets and a couple of mounts. And there are also vendors that sell you transmogrification gear. Gear that had absolutely no stats whatsoever. The only thing they can be used for is to transmogrify. For now, we only have access to the dungeon tier gear. This was the gear that was available in stuff like Stratholme and Skullomance before Cataclysm came out. The gear where you could do very long quest chains to improve your gear, improve your stats a little bit. Basically, gear that is no longer available. Well, it is available now for transmogrification. And because this was gear that was available before Cataclysm came out, but is no longer available anymore, this stands to reason that we might end up seeing more gear in the future. For example, the tier 3 gear. So if you haven't found out how you want to look yet, this might definitely be the place for you. Before I wrap up this video, I just wanted to show you the area where the band Level 90 Elite Tauren Chieftain usually plays a song or two. Usually it's at the top of every hour, so the next time the Darkmoon Faire comes to town, go check them out, they're pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video and for letting me steal a couple of minutes of your time. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you will subscribe so you can see more of my videos coming out in the future. And don't forget to follow my Facebook group, that way you'll be able to know what's going on behind the scenes. So until next time, see ya!